Preface of Great Events in the History of North and South America. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Wilson. Great Events in the History of North and South America by Charles Goodrich. Preface. The plan of the following work, whatever may be thought of its execution, will commend itself, it is believed, to the taste and judgment of the public. It proceeds upon the principle of selection, being chiefly confined to the great events of American history, and which are treated of as distinct subjects. In these respects the work differs from other historical works on the same subject. The advantages of a work thus constructed are too obvious to need specification. Yet it may be remarked that great events in history are like great objects in nature and art. It is the bolder features of a country, the more costly and imposing edifices of the city, the higher and more elaborate achievements of art upon which we delight to dwell. In like manner, great events attract our attention and interest our minds, because of their relations, because of the higher qualities of mind which perhaps gave them birth, and the striking and lasting changes which grow out of them. They serve as landmarks in our drift down the stream of time. We date from them. We refer to them. We measure between them. We compare them one with another, their causes, progress, influences. And in so doing our knowledge of men and things is advanced. Our false opinions are corrected. Our topics for interesting and profitable speculation and reflection greatly multiplied. A thorough perusal of a work thus constructed will secure, it is believed, a more competent and permanent knowledge of the history of a country than some half-dozen readings of that history written on the ordinary plan. The principle of selection will render the work the more valuable to certain classes of persons. To those who, desirous of a competent knowledge of the history of their country, have but a limited time to devote to the study of it. To the young, whose minds are apt to become wearied and perplexed with the number and details of minor events, and to those who wish to refresh their recollections without the labor and loss of time incident to the perusal of works constructed on the common plan. Each of these classes will find their interests consulted in the work before them, while the general reader may profitably proceed from the perusal of such a volume to those which describe events and details more minutely. In regard to what constitute the great events of American history, there may be some diversity of opinion. As to his selection, the author has not the vanity to suppose that it is the best that could be made. The journey has been a long one, and surely it were not strange if some events had been magnified into an undue importance, while those of perhaps even higher consideration were neglected, either for want of a better judgment or for want of more serious reflection. In the progress of the work, the author has endeavored to do justice to the original settlers of the United States and their immediate descendants, by bringing into view their constant sense of their dependence upon God. It will be seen that our forefathers were men who feared God, who sought His blessing in all their great enterprises, and when success crowned those enterprises, that they were ready to acknowledge His good hand which had been with them. In seasons of darkness they fasted and prayed. In seasons of prosperity they rejoiced and gave thanks. In these respects our ancestors did, indeed, only their duty. But it may well be urged upon the rising generation, which will soon take the management of the affairs of this already mighty nation, and which is growing in population, wealth, and importance every year, to imitate an example so just, so beautiful, so impressive. The author has briefly to add that the work was begun some years since, but until now he has found no opportunity to complete it, nor should he even at this date have had that pleasure but for the important aid of a highly valued literary friend, long favorably known to the public, Reverend Royal Robbins, of Berlin, Connecticut, to whom in this place he is happy to make his acknowledgments for valuable portions of the volume. End of preface.